folks, welcome to this exciting video where you once again join us in the wild landscape of Scotland. And this is exactly the same place we started the last video when we went on an adventure that side of the glen. But for today's adventure, we've went and taken our wellies off and we're in trainers and we're about to head up the opposite side of the glen here, up the Piercy direction and onto some tracks that we've never explored before. So let's get into this crazy wee adventure into the wild lands of Scotland and see what ancient historical wonders we'll find along the way. Look at this, the road is lined with these old shrubs and bushes. As we come up this hill, we've come off the main road, we're now on this mud track and we're just heading up one of these hills onto the wild hill, and there is an old cottage and stuff up here, so we'll have a wee look and see what's going on with the history in this area. It's a proper paradise scene here today. Like I've said it already on the video, but it's like when you get that sunshine and then that breeze coming through the trees, it's just the perfect temperature for an adventure, folks. Look at this, we're up on the hill here and check out the view over the valley here. It's just an absolutely magical scene on the video this week. And in front of us we can now see this old abandoned property here, just nestled within this landscape, almost lost and forgotten. Nature often takes back over with these places. I think maybe gamekeepers use these houses as like a bit of a bothy, but apart from that they're pretty much unmaintained and every year they degrade more and more. These videos often just tell the story of the history, how it was here on the land at a certain time. So it's interesting to stop by these properties as we're on our little walk today. These are interesting wee roads that just kind of weave their way over these hills in Prosen, and it looks like there's a bit of a bench up on the hill. If folks ever out for a walk, they could probably stop there for a relaxing seat. Anyway, let's get into this little abandoned wonder and tell the story of the history here. Here we go, folks, this is a crazy adventure into history right here. Look at that. Wow, this is just the shed here. The house doors round the front. I'll check myself for ticks at this point, folks. We've been lucky so far on our adventures today, but there's so many of them in the lands. Wow, this is a pure paradise scene we're in the middle of here. Look at this view over the land. Wow, it's so overgrown. We're just pushing through, folks, getting a route. This must be the old front garden, because look, there's a row of stones that we're following. Wow, so overgrown. It looks like nobody's been in here for so long. This is crazy. Look at it over here. It's been changed and developed at a certain time. Like some of these abandoned properties we visit, they're all at different levels of decay. And imagine looking out your window over this. There's actually still some colourful plants and poppies in the garden, maybe planted from the former occupant of this house. Wow, look at this, folks. Some of the internal walls are actually missing and taken out, but from the marks on the roof you can see where they originally stood. The temperatures on today's adventure are just so extremely hot. Yeah, this has been like a little bothy house, I believe, in more recent years. Originally it would have been an individual house on the hill, maybe an estate house or potentially even an individual little croft. There's some cool old historical graffiti here on the wall, look. 1972, and I think it's Top Cat. 1965, 66, 69, look, these are some cool little historical details, folks. 1972, there's all different sorts of years. 67.
People are actually staying here.
Yeah, that shows it was maybe a spot folk came to. If you have written on this wall and you remember this little cabin up here on the hill, get in the comments, because it's cool to share that history with people. Yeah, wow. Look at that, folks. Think about the wee campfire going there, maybe heating up their beans, sitting around here, playing cards. Yeah, they would have a wee lantern maybe hung up on these old hooks. Even in the original days of this being a farmhouse or even just a cottage on the hill, they would have maybe just had tilly lamps, which are like paraffin lamps. And look, you can see the original house wall would have been this, and see how it's been painted. And then later, most commonly in the 1800s, they lined the houses with this wood. But it's interesting to see behind the wood, the original wall lines and marks still exist. And that's how you can see this alcove in the wall here from the original design. Whereas the later internal walls have been built here, facing over the top of that. And look, even the old wallpaper was underneath the wood. That's the kind of historical detail I love to see about the architecture. It shows this is a lot older than what it looks like on the surface. Yeah, wow, look at that. Could be. It looks like a grater. I think somebody's just been handing themselves a cheese piece up here on the hill. Look, this has almost been a wee larder here because it's got the mesh window. Wow, that'll be like an original window for back in the day. Looks like it's been shot for an air rifle. Wow, this is just mad, folks. It's just, yeah, a wild little house on the hill, and it's almost degraded fully. When you see the neck of this roof, it's like bowing down, or bowing as you would say. And the walls are starting to sag with the dampness and maybe the weight of the old roof. This is one of the more original windows at this end as well. It's like the other end of the house has been changed and developed a lot more recently. Wow, this is so cool, folks. The angles you get of a place like this. You just imagine the conversations that may have been had in a house like this when it was in its prime. The wee family that may have been settled here for years and years, and then one day the place just became abandoned and forgotten. It fell silent, and then the stormy nights just take their toll. Let's have a look down here. This has been a newer building put on the end, and that was most likely when they introduced sanitation to the house. We running water. And look, they've had some sort of flue here at the back of the fire. Wow. Yeah, look, old shelves. Maybe for the storage of game animals when they were hunting. Look, this has been a wee wash house. See there, the chimney? That means there's been a wee boiler here. And look, there's the old flue. You would open and shut that, so the flow of smoke would take away. And then there's been a door here as well. It's been changed and blocked up. You can hear the wind battering off this building. It's howling rain today, folks. And just look at this old window here. The character of that.
It's all going into the chimney.
Wow, yeah, I think some places have got that in their chimney though. It helps the chimney draw. So the smoke gets sucked up the chimney. Wow, it is interesting to imagine that, because you would have thought they would have had some other... This was maybe put in by the gamekeepers for boiling like rabbits and stuff for feeding the dogs. Because this doesn't actually look as old as when you would have a wash house like that. But then again, there is an old square nail there.
I guess would have been here on the wall.
It's hard to tell. Yeah, maybe back in the 70s and that, this would have been maybe a lot newer and tidier. Wow, folks, it is a cool scene. And all those names and stuff, I can hardly record them all. Some funny names right on there, like, for sure. But if you do remember this place and you've actually written on this wall, or you've even seen your name written, get in the comments. Maybe the same people came back now and again. There's a whole family visited here in 1972, July the 12th. And it's just amazing. Fantastic weather. It was so hot we were able to have breakfast outside every morning except one. And they stayed until July the 17th. And they arrived on July the 12th. So that shows they came here and spent their summer holiday. And probably if you were camping, you would be able to still do a similar deal to that as well. It's just mad. This would have been the original door into this room that would have taken you out into the wee lobby area, and then obviously you imagine it when the walls was here. This would have been the individual room, maybe like a wee pantry or storage room. Yeah. See, I think the doorway into this room here would have been from here somewhere, rather than from here. Oh, is that it there? See, this is the sort of history I almost missed. The door was literally right here. It's cool to see the layout and what they did. Because some of the houses I've been in, you go into that end and then the door goes in.
Well, I'm should have seen it.
So from the original walls and stuff, you can see how it's been. This has been a red room here, folks. And look, it's like they've had a carpet or whatever to this edge. And then look, even behind this wall, you can see it's been red. And then this centre room has been white. And the floor has been blue. And that's been the original colour. And then this end, you can see it's originally been like a yellow colour or a whitewash. And then they've had different types of wallpaper. Blue wallpaper even, with the red floor. It's almost been like a pinky red. It's maybe just super faded. And that's the sort of interesting detail that we love to see. The way it's painted white, that'll be for the brightness, to keep the light quite high. And then maybe at one time there would have been a cast iron fireplace in here that's most likely been taken out. Or these bricks are definitely non-original here for sure. And then these bunk beds, you can imagine these people that wrote the graffiti on the wall, they would have been camping here, maybe having a great summer holiday. Imagine waking up, the smell of bacon sizzling at the faraway fire, and then looking out over this view, pour a cup of coffee and then chill out on the front porch. Such a incredible spot, and it's been amazing on this video to bring to you wee bits of history like this. Anyway, let's brave the crazy conditions at the door. At this time of year, it's so overgrown. Look at that. That's the wee letterbox. Absolutely mad, folks. And then look at this wee door. Oh, look. No, well, there might have been a wee toilet in here, but there's been a sink and stuff. I think originally this would have been part of the porch. There's hooks on the roof. Yeah, so it is. Yeah, so they must have had a wee toilet in here at a certain time. There's some interesting little nuggets. That's like a belt cover, and then there's a wee sieve. But then look, there's an attic hatch up there too. What's even going up there? And see these hooks? I believe that would have been on the roof for hanging the lamp. Probably when they were in here relieving themselves in the cold, stormy nights. Wow, what a mad scene out the window even. The windows have been painted blue on the outside in the later years, and you can see the difference with the stonework at this side. It's got that cement render over it compared to the older looking stone, which is at this other side of the door. Check it out, folks. You can see it has been painted blue, but look at the difference with the stonework. Oh, see what it is? Look, the end wall's actually starting to lean and fall away from the property, and all the cement render has been on there, but it's just fallen off. So it's only really the window that's been modernised and upgraded at this far end. What's that? Yeah, it's in far better condition. The wee chimney up there is looking a bit worse for wear as well. It's starting to lean. Wow, what an interesting property. And another wee nugget recorded on the channel once again, folks. We're heading back around this tick-infested wilderness to the main road, which is just up here. Luckily it's not too far, but that's the kind of adventure sometimes you have to plan appropriate for the time of year, depending on the conditions and the type of creatures that's running about. So check it out for this side, folks. It's protected from the landscape, and you can see that the render on the walls actually survived slightly better, apart from this end where the end wall has started shifting. And it is unfortunate. That end chimney's fallen, but luckily it's gone away from the building, because a lot of old houses I visited, the chimney ends up going through the roof and damaging so much more. And look, you can see that little window, it's had that mesh put over. Maybe the wee larder. Yeah, imagine just looking out. I've said it already, but looking over that view, it's just a paradise scene of Scotland. And it's so cool I can share stuff like this with people all over the world.
That whole fenced off bit there would have been kept.
Yeah, their garden.
Ah, it would have been kept.
All the grass would have been cut. And you can still see plants. There's some massive poppies there growing, thriving in this wild land. Look at this, folks. This is the next interesting little nugget on this walk. Whoa, these steps is proper spongy. Oh, look at this. There's a wee loch here, folks. Look, a wee man-made dam and a little bridge bit that goes out. Let's have a look. Wow, this is such a cool piece in the land here. I'm always blown away by the places we find. Let's just go out and document it right here. Wow, it's a bit of Scotland that I've never recorded before in these adventures. Let's just check it out. Wow, this must be the sluice mechanism here. All these places that are Scottish water. Whoa, that'll be super deep here. I was only standing on the bars because that'll be strong. I wouldn't trust anything else. Look at there. I don't even know if it comes out on the camera. What a mad scene, folks. Look at this, the big sluice. Looks like it's been repaired and replaced. Wow, it's super windy out here, folks, but I do have the windsock on the camera for better audio, so I just hope that it comes out. Hope it's crisp. Yeah, this is a mad wee dam. Look how it's all been built with these stones. This is what you would call the dam wall at this end, and I think this links up with the little dam. I think it's got an expansion dam down at the far end near the old tin church of Piercy. This is so nice looking out over the water. Look at the wee boat. There's maybe a wee fishing community here. Shout out if this is your loch. I don't know how much it rises and falls depending on the time of year, but it looks pretty high right now. It looks to me as well as if this bit here has been replaced, and so has that there pretty recently. Wow, it'd be interesting to see what is down below here. You can tell there's like a tap thing. I don't want to drop my camera in there for sure, folks. Absolute madness. Look, there's a wee winch there. I never noticed that winch. Whoa, a sunken boat. Whereabouts? So there is, folks. There's a boat underneath here. What? It's like something you would see at one of those old 1980s like Miami little speedboats. What is even going on? Look, who would have known it, folks? We found a sunken boat on this adventure. It might be cool to look into the water for that angle. I don't know how well that comes out on the camera, folks. Look at that. Wow. Another scene of abandoned history right here, an abandoned boat. And that just shows the spontaneous adventures are the coolest, because we just literally go as the crow flies, and if something's cool, we'll go and have a wee look. We'll always come with the greatest respects, like the landowner and the water company here that obviously maintains and upkeeps this. This is absolute magical here, folks. Check this out. We're down at water level, and I just love it. Doesn't it look that deep here?
See the boat,
Yeah.
It's that 5 meters deep.
Wow. That's no meters, I don't think, the way. That'll be like 5 foot, I think. Over there, the measuring stick. Because it's almost just the depth of that boat. Like, the water does get deeper though, because where my head height is just now is the high water line. Here, look, there's an overflow there. Let's go and have a look in the overflow, because it must dump out down the hill a little bit, eh? This is so interesting to see, folks. I do love a little reservoir or a waterway. It's so cool to see the way they did it with the water, to control the water for obviously the supply of like drinking water. Certain areas they need dams, but they also need like backup dams and spare water supplies. Check this out here. Yeah, there's rungs and stuff. The boy must need to go down there and maintain it. That'll be the overflow pipe there, and then if the water gets even higher, it'll dump through the mesh down in.
Yeah, it's been higher.
You can imagine how ferocious that must be when it's in a storm or when it's high waters. The waves will be getting blown down to this end of the waterway. The wind's blowing so strong, but you can see it's coming right down off that mad hillside there. It's just wild hills with nothing but heather and overgrown bushes and shrubs and ferns and grasses. Look, there's a pole in the water here. Maybe part of the old fishing, or part of the boats or whatever are in here. Maybe it's an old bit of an oar. Or... So interesting to see though, folks. Wow. I can actually see loads of pollen on the top of the water today. So there we are, folks, the scene of Scotland once again on the channel. See here folks, I can actually see the electrical wires, and that shows they're measuring the flow of water being dumped down the overflow, and that shows the way they're obviously monitoring what's going on with the water. And it's the same even with the sluice, they've got electronic monitoring devices. Probably wee dams like this might even be linked up with the water supplies for like the backwater and other little interesting places like that. The way they're built into the land, it's impressive to see. And on a day like today, it's almost like a paradise scene. It's like a little secluded beach. Yeah, that's been somebody's little fishing boat that's accidentally sunk here. It looks like it is a rowing boat though. This will be the rope that actually at one time is tied to the boat. This will be the person's livelihood. Maybe no livelihood, their pleasure craft. I bet they turned up here one day and it was sunk. Must have not been a very fun feeling.
I think that's the new one though.
Yeah, maybe that's their new one over there. It's maybe the local farmer or landowner. It would be cool to come in here a little boat and float around on a place like this. Just relax on a day like this. The sound of the water rolling in with the little waves. Check this out folks, I'm going to skim this stone over the water here. A double skim. It was quite a large stone, but there's obviously no any stones here, decent ones around. It's just whatever's washed up. And from what I'm seeing from the debris, it looks like the wind probably washes most of the stuff down to this end of the dam. Wow, I love the way these places are built and constructed. It looks like there's actually another construction at the far end. Almost like another dam wall. Maybe a little fishing pier. Check this out folks, Channel DJ's away to record me here, skimming this stone. Check it out. This is my selected stone. It's a high level skimmer. Look at that, that was pretty good because it was a monster of a stone. I had to use both hands to even throw it to get the right trajectory. I can't even say that word, eh?
Oh, look.
Whoa, there's been a creature here eaten. Maybe by a fox, or maybe a sheep fell in. There's some good stones here. I'm just looking at the ground folks, selecting a proper flat stone. What sort of creature is even on the back of that stone? It's a way to get thrown out into the water. I was trying not to touch the creature. Right, here it goes. That was a fail. Kind of trouble, a lot of the stones is like square, and I think that affects it. Here we are folks, here's decent stones. Whoa, that was brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Your one was perfect, it went just about to the other side. Absolutely crazy scenes folks, once again on the channel. We're total skimming things, it's like big triangles and big chunks of the rock. Like look at this one, it's got a flat edge on it, but like will it skim? It's so heavy. Here, that's super deep right there. Just gets deep as anything. Stone skimming champions here of this loch here folks. You witnessed it here on the video. So here it is folks, we're coming round the back. We've just come out of the dam area you just saw us in. That's at the other side of this ridge. And I was just looking to see where the overflow comes down.
The overflow pipe, man.
Oh aye, the pipe comes out below the ground there into the what must have been the original burn. And look, it is Scottish Water that's got this site. Shout out Scottish Water. They've got some amazing projects all over the country, bringing fresh water to the taps of Scotland. Yeah, that'll be the wee overflow there, look, yeah. With the cement. Maybe ferocious on the windy, stormy nights, when the waves is getting blown down to this end of the loch. Anyway, let's head on with this adventure. We're now heading back towards the Cottage area on this walk. Look at this folks, we're now down the path further than the wee cottage that we saw earlier in the video, and we're now navigating this mad land down this steep hill. Today's adventures, we've been up and down these steep hills of Piercy or Prosen, and it is just beautiful landscape all the way through this. We've seen some mad creatures and crazy wildlife. To see the wee cottage at the start of the walk, and then to see like a sunken boat, you didn't see that on every adventure for sure.
No, way up in the middle.
Yeah, so we're just heading down here, and the colour of these plants and shrubs in this area, it's been well landscaped back in the day. Nowadays it's pretty overgrown.
Is that a root? No, it's a cable.
Look at this, folks. These plants are planted around a lot of Scottish estates. You see it in areas where it's been landscaped back and off in the Victorian era or whatever. Some of these rarer plants got brought, but now this is all over the lands in Scotland. But at this time of year it adds so much colour. I was just trying to think of the name of that purple plant there, folks, and I think it's rhododendrons, but I can't remember for sure. Like I've said on previous adventures, sometimes you try and remember so many details about every single thing you see on the way around. You can't remember everything, but I'm sure these are rhododendrons. I think you get loads of different colours, but it's mostly purple ones that I see on my adventures. Anyway, folks, I'm ending this one here. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye for me, goodbye for the channel DJ, and I'll catch you very soon with the next one, wherever we end up going.